XLR cables are cheap. Like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, we can make our own too.
Do you want to make your own XLR cable?
Yeah, they're easy to make.
I guess, but you could just buy one.
You could.
It's already made and probably take you way less time.
Why do you want to make one?
Because he wants to say that he made this one.
Yeah, because I want to like put it together.
And then he wants to be like, someone will be like, "Whoa, where'd you get these cables from?" He's like,
No,
I made it.
No, so I like the idea of making your own because the ones that you buy aren't like you can't break them down to repair them.
Yeah.
So if you make your own, you can at least open the connector so that we can do repairs.
True.
Because the break-in connection is always at the connector. It's never like mid-cable.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have a big cable. You're absolutely right. It's probably the
Plus, if we make our own and we wanted to like, let's say like we needed 2 short ones, like we can cut the cable and then make 2 short ones.
It's a good idea.
You want to make XLR cables?
They're not hard. I did them for all my DJ stuff back in the day.
You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just. I think that'd be
guess
cool.
we're
This is
gonna-
a great
And
way
then
to.
the added benefit is I can go, yeah, I made them.
That's really what you want to do. Like, I know you. Because I know that you're... Because I see it when, like, someone asks about something and then your, like, ears perk up and you're just like...
So did we already have the slate thing go thing? Okay, so we're live. Oh, Chris said we're live.
Yeah. We're just talking about XLR cables, though.
Hey, Ryan's here.
It's me. Ah.
Hello, it's me.
Now we're gonna make our own airsoft wiring harnesses, courtesy of Ryan.
I've done that before, actually. Yeah, that's pretty easy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One didn't go so well.
Look, man, that was... I didn't tell anyone to plug anything into that one.
What's up, Airsofters? Welcome
You gotta
back
tell
to the,
that story now.
Welcome back to the Not So Round Table. We're joined today by Ryan.
It's me.
Ryan.
Yeah, it's me.
It's
Ryan.
me, Ryan.
Ryan.
If you guys are familiar with the show's current format,
I'm not
we can hit
actually.
you guys. Well, then.
Welcome.
So we gave you guys a prompt in our last video last month asking what or how to get new players into Airsoft. So we will discuss that topic
Cool.
over the next half hour or so, and then at the end we'll hit you guys with another prompt for December. So if you want to have the conversation along with us, we read all of the comments. So let us know your opinion in the comment section down below. Keep up with the conversation as we go through the episode, and maybe we'll be able to respond and keep that conversation going.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What got you guys in Airsoft? Like, what was the biggest draw, I guess, for like...
Well, Matt's given his story several
Yeah.
times, but
Yeah.
go ahead and fill in the new crowd of how you got in Airsoft.
Like, I guess, what was the pitch to you?
There was no pitch. So if you're just tuning in, so I got into Airsoft in a way that I don't think anybody should get into Airsoft. I was over at a friend's house, and he was like, "Hey, you want to see something cool?" And he brought out this MP5, and I was like, "Oh, it's just like a video game. It's just like Counter-Strike." And he was like, "Yeah, check this out," and then told me to run down the block.
As you do.
And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay, fine."
Yeah.
So I'm like running down the block. And I got like 3 or 4 houses away, and he was like, "Yeah, now turn around." And all I hear is this zoop, 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 from a ways away, and then get nailed right in the neck. And that's when I knew I wanted to play Airsoft.
Nice.
But it wasn't safe. I wasn't wearing iPro, and I don't
condone
suggest
this
anybody
at all.
ever gets into Airsoft. But it was my interest in getting him back for that.
Oh, so it was a revenge-based
Oh
story.
yeah, I was like, man,
This is
I'm gonna
pure
get him back for
revenge-based
this, and
story.
I went right over to Evike.com.
Oh.
And well, no, so I
thought
went
it was-
I went
it
to
was
Jungle
something-
Toy
Yeah.
to buy a vest.
Right. To get protected first.
Yeah, so I bought a cross-draw vest from Jungle Toy.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Top quality.
from
Everybody gets one at
from
one point in
Kevin
time.
actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Was it the like really cheap plasticky one, the Fire
it
Dragon
was.
one?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was, like,
yeah. It had like the leather
Oh,
The
yeah.
fake
with the
leather,
tube with the
Yeah,
tube.
I don't know
for the-
what's the tube there for. Is that like a recoil pad or
I
something?
think it's meant to like
Yeah.
cushion.
It just really hurt every time I like tried to shoulder anything.
So I got this
It's a
really
terrible
floppy.
design.
Yeah.
And back when I bought it, I was like, when I got the vest, I was like a sophomore, so I was still like 95 pounds and like 5'2",
you
5'1".
filled that out real well.
Oh yeah, no, it was floppy. I couldn't get the belts tight enough. Anyway, so then I went to Evike.com back when it was next to Friar Tuck's, and I bought a Glock 19, a KWA Glock 19, or a G19 at the time it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you went in at that point and asked
It
for
probably
a Glock,
had
they'd
Glock.
probably be like, yeah, this one.
It probably had Glock trades at that time too, probably.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, the KWA one? I don't
No.
know the KWA
Oh,
one.
the KWA one was always
no.
blank.
So at the store they had TM Glocks with trades, but I wanted a 19, and the only 19s they had were KWA, no trades, blank slide. That was easily remedied though.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the days.
Den
Yeah.
Trinity.
OG airsoft.
Anyway, so that's
Not
how I
like
got
that
into it.
anymore.
Yeah. I've always been into guns. Like my dad had one of these like military books, like as a kid with a bunch of pictures in it, like modern military, like
Stuff.
Like, yeah, so it was like tanks, airplanes,
Oh, cool.
like like destroyers and stuff like that, and then there's like a small arms section, and they were like they had like the cross sections of like MP5s and like Browning high powers and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is cool, look at all these little parts that go together and stuff. And so then I just like got really into guns, but my parents being my parents, they were like, hey, you can't have a gun, and I'm just like, why not? And like 5-year-old me is like, why not? Like, and so eventually it got to the point though where I was like, okay, I'm not getting a BB gun anytime soon, so what about airsoft, because it's like a plastic BB gun, like maybe that'll be a better pitch. And so like after 2 years of whining, they eventually were like, okay, you can have an airsoft gun, but only the one small Springer gun, no more.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a little. I still have it actually. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it because it's my first airsoft gun. It's like a little Cybergun Taurus PT-111. It's like this big, and it's awful. But it still worked. Like I've had this thing for like 8 years, and it still works. But then after so then I was like playing. I would like play with it, shoot it in the backyard, targets and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, well, I want another one. So I got a different Springer. And after a couple Springers, I was like, oh, I want an electric gun. And then I was like, oh, you can shoot other people with these? Like this is cool. And so then it just
so you got an airsoft. Not a,
no, I didn't want to play the game at all. I was like, because I was kind of aware that people played a game like that, but it sounded kind of scary. Like it sounded kind of intimidating because it's like, yeah.
Well, back then,
it's a bunch of grown adults running around like abandoned warehouses, like shooting each other with BB guns. I was like, oh, I'm never gonna do that. And
so things really haven't changed.
Yeah, not really.
A bunch of grown adults running around warehouses.
Yeah, and sometimes open fields.
Yeah,
sometimes. But yeah, so that's how I got into it, and then it was just kind of a good outlet for my like wanting to tinker on things and stuff. And then my parents are just like, after a certain point, I'm just like, oh, we're not gonna stop this. So yeah, and that's I got a job here.
Can't stop this train.
Yeah,
we're already rolling.
It was going already down the hill. Yeah. And they were like, oh, we're not gonna stand in front of that. Yeah.
So George, have you talked about how you got into airsoft before? I feel like you've mentioned it before.
I don't know if I have on the show.
Okay.
But unlike you guys, it was well after high school. When I was working at a gaming company, somebody brought in a bunch of props for a project, and then we're just like looking at them, and then like we went to Evike later, like a week later, and just bought a bunch of stuff.
Oh wow!
Like when you have leftover income,
right?
You just kind of expendable income. You just kind of go, yeah, whatever. Here's my credit card. And
was that did you not have a hobby at the time that was like sucking all your money?
No, not. It was, you get that first job when you're out of college, and you start like, getting paid like, good money, and you're
starting
like,
hard to have a hobby like. When
I had other hobbies for sure. It's just,
I've been into hockey for a while, but
I was still playing hockey at that time. I never stopped playing hockey since I was like 12. So that didn't suck up enough money, apparently.
Right, yeah. Like, if you still had expendable income after the first hobby, that means you didn't have enough hobbies.
Exactly. So I used to be into guns when I was younger. I didn't shoot at all when I was in college because it's a kind of not really doesn't really make sense to have a firearm in your dorm room or student housing.
Plus, ammunition costs money, and there are other bills.
So quit at that time, and then just my friend showed me, check out these airsoft guns. They're like weighted. It was like the first gen KWAs. We're like, whoa!
It's like full metal.
And it's just like, I could spend money and go shoot people with this. All right, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, so what was your first airsoft gun?
A G&G GR16.
Oh.
That never worked. That never worked.
Oh.
All
right, well then.
That gun was like, I've told G&G this story many times. That gun was the biggest lemon.
Was that the time that they had like wiring issues?
No, that was the gun just kept breaking one issue after another. Even the gearbox shell cracked.
And that happens to every brand.
Yeah.
It wasn't specifically.
Yeah, no, I don't mean to like.
He just likes to give them a hard time. Because
I don't.
We know them
this
well.
is before. This is their old gens. They don't even have that old gen stuff around anymore.
They've done a lot of revisions.
This is before the line, the combat machine line. This is before the Top Tech line. This is like way before.
Okay. Yeah. So, moving forward in time, what kept you playing airsoft? Because I think, kind of the question of the prompt is, I think many young people, especially nowadays with how popular airsoft is, are at least exposed to airsoft in one way or another.
No, YouTube has definitely helped that.
Yeah, and so I think how did you guys continue to play? Like, it's one thing to like buy a gun or like go out once, but what kept you playing airsoft? Because I know for me, so I got the one gun, and I think if I had just tried to play like by myself or like just been plinking around in the backyard at targets, or if I hadn't made any friends, I don't think I would have continued playing airsoft.
Same.
Yeah.
But I think I was lucky enough that I met some other people while I was shopping that went to my high school that that I hung out with,
Right.
and then formed a friendship over airsoft.
Right.
And so going to one guy's house and playing in the backyard and I think that kind of inspired me to continue playing. But I wonder, if I hadn't had that, if I would have still been doing it.
No, I think that's the crucial ingredient to at least retain somebody who gets into it new. Is if they don't have the friends who are encouraging them to go out and play, it's a lot harder to go and do events. You can actually even see it from our side. If we go to an event by ourselves, we're much less likely to play than if we go to an event as a group. Then we're more likely to play. It's just pretty standard for us. I think friendship is the key.
Yeah.
I think the social aspect for me was the thing that, well, at first it was just being able to play with guns. That was the big thing that kind of kept me going into it, because I was I can't have a real one, so I might as well just play with these.
Yeah.
And then the tinkering aspect for me kept me in it for probably a little bit longer than I would have had there been no kind of mechanical working aspect, because it gave me something to do for 12 hours at a time to just have something to work at and try and figure things out and problem solve. So for me, that was what I was doing. I was enjoying that part. But I guess even in that sense, I was spending a lot of time on forums and talking to people and figuring out and problem solving and helping other people solve their problems with their guns and stuff. So for me, there is still a social aspect even in the tinkering aspect of it. But
because it's a community, right? It's not just people meeting up to go play.
Exactly.
There's more to it than just hey, let's get together and shoot each other.
Yeah. But then, the only reason why I guess I stayed in it is because then I needed a job in college and I started working here, and I met a whole bunch of other people that were like, oh, hey, we all like the same hobby. We better be working at the store.
Really?
And,
yeah. It seems like airsoft is just the excuse to hang out.
Yeah.
Any hobby.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I'm not going necessarily just to play airsoft, because I could honestly, the actual gameplay is it's fun, but it only goes so far. If I'm not there with my friends, it's I don't
Then
wanna
you're
be
just
there.
shooting at people.
Yeah, and it's the novelty wears off after a little bit. Yeah.
Well, so I guess to bring it back to maybe some suggestions that we have, what's a good way to expose people to airsoft that maybe haven't heard of it?
Right.
Or don't know what airsoft is. We want to get some first timers out. What are some what is some advice that you might give the people at the other end of the screen here about bringing new people in that have never played airsoft before?
I think if they see, it depends what they're interested in outside of airsoft. So if they're interested in gaming, you'd be like, you like first-person shooter video games, hey, you could try that in real life. Or maybe they were interested in guns and they want to train, or maybe they were interested in paintball and they like that, and then they found it was then they want to try something else. I think all those different things can make people at least be exposed to airsoft.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then they can be exposed to it via many different ways, either driving by a local shop, driving by a local field, checking out a YouTube page, a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
And then once they know, then they want to try it, hopefully.
Yeah. I think that it definitely helps, at least for me, the way that I've introduced some of my friends is to not make it intimidating. I think it can be kind of an intimidating game to play just because of how seriously people take it, which is hilarious because we all know that this is not a serious game. This is really not a serious game.
But to the outsider that hasn't played, it's very fast.
Oh yeah, no, it is. Yeah, and it's real, and the way that people approach it, I think, is very kind of it's not the most friendly at times. Even though I think that a lot of people are friendly when you go to the field. The way that it's portrayed is kind of this very serious machismo kind of saturated thing. So I generally just try and be oh, do you want to try and shoot this gun first? I get them to shoot the gun first, and then if they enjoy shooting at targets and stuff, and I'm oh, well then there's these other games that you can go at and you can sort of shoot other people, and then I kind of liken it to paintball because I think paintball is a little bit less intimidating for some people to understand the concept of.
Really?
Yeah, because
that's interesting.
Because we all know paintball hurts because of the mass, but as far as it's
just shooting somebody with paint.
But it's bright colors, so it's fun.
It's a sport kind of thing, It's the look is very much it's. I think people can.
It doesn't have that ultra tactical.
Yeah, and it's not kind of scary.
Feel.
Yeah, and it's. I feel like that's sometimes a little bit easier to get people into it, and I think that just bringing them to a more casual game, and just taking it kind of easy. We have some other videos that with the other company I shoot with, and we did some casual games with you guys. And then the response to that was pretty good. Yeah,
right.
I've had friends even that are watch that video oh cool, I want to do that. Yeah, but it's very much not a super serious tactical kind of trading thing. This is the real military kind of thing. Like, no, we're just a bunch of friends getting together and we just want to play a game and shoot at each other with like BB guns basically. So I think making it like the least amount of intimidating and figuring out how to get them interested in it first, and if they want to take it to the next level, then they can. But at the heart of it, you don't need a whole lot of stuff to have fun with it.
Right.
It's very simple to have fun with it. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest tools that most younger airsofters have now that none of us had was YouTube.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like if I could have gone when I was in high school and gone on YouTube and seen the bulk of airsoft gameplay footage that's available to people to watch nowadays, I think I would have gotten even more into it faster. But I think if you do want to inspire somebody to play airsoft, maybe being selective about like what type of gameplay you show. I think maybe draws people in more quickly or less quickly. Like I think showing stuff like the games where we horse around or do Trouble in Terrorist Town or some of the fun games and maybe less of the intense stuff would be maybe easier for somebody to digest who isn't familiar with the game.
A little bit better than like a damn mission.
Because if somebody saw that we were throwing flashbangs at each other and smoking out buildings and kicking stuff and like putting zip cuffs on somebody and watching JP get face planted, like they might go, I don't know if that's for me.
Yeah, that's a little bit much. But at the same time, like if I was like one of my cop buddies, it's like I want to learn how to train. I'd be like, hey, look, you can do this with that.
That's true.
And they get like real hyped on that.
Like, dude,
you
check
guys
this out.
have explosives? We don't even get to play with explosives. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll just hide these then.
Watch us drop Russo and zip tie him,
Yeah.
But, okay,
and
so...
then fake kick him. Or actually, I think he did kick him.
Oh, yeah. So now that we've introduced somebody to Airsoft, how do we keep them playing? I know we already kind of touched on this with what kept us playing, but how do we encourage others to be a positive, guiding kind of friend for an Airsoft player that's gotten started? Like, for example, I've seen so many times where we'll go to an event or we're doing an event where I'll meet somebody for the first time. This is their first game or their first event or their first day at the field, and I look around and they're not with anyone. They don't have a friend there. They haven't got a parent who's like sticking around to hang out with them. They're just there, and you can tell they're having a blast, but you have to wonder, like, how long is this person going to stay in Airsoft, and how can other players like help with that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that like I guess this is more like if you're on a I guess it applies to big or small fields, but yeah, like helping people out that you see might be like alone or struggling, at your own discretion. Everyone's got their own like level of like, how much they want to reach out to like other random people at fields and stuff. But that's definitely really helpful and definitely helps like foster friendships and stuff. But I definitely say if you can get into it with a friend, just bring at least one friend along to like, be a companion for the day. That helps a lot. And that, and then definitely like if you have a friend that wants to go and you are also into it, or you are interested in getting into it, just go with them, because you will have way more fun with at least another friend to like commiserate and do stuff with, as opposed to just going by yourself. But I know there are people that do go by themselves and they enjoy it, but for me, that's just not how I personally enjoy Airsoft. Like I'm there for the social. I'm there to hang out with my friends. So.
I think, that's a good common point. I think another point is to figure out how to mitigate frustrations. And frustrations can happen in many different ways. So like one of the things that was frustrating for me was never having, like when I started out, was never having a gun that was working properly. That was very frustrating. Like if it wasn't then for hanging out with other people, that would have been a player gone.
Right.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even be working here. So that would have been very interesting if you have a frustration with a product that could, so Airsoft is one of those things that's a little bit different than some other hobbies out there, meaning it's a tinkering hobby. You need to understand everything and how it works to be successful.
Right.
Like if you could have something as simple as just having the wrong battery.
Right.
And it could ruin your whole day.
Yeah.
But if no one tells you, you could be using the wrong battery for a very long. If you're using an 8.4, and your gun keeps dying, it's not helping.
Yeah.
I think we've come a long way though, like as far as technology has gone. Like even if you take a look at like 3 years ago, what the industry has done as far as like reliability out of the box, performance out of the box, and price to value ratio, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like if you think about how long this hobby's been around, which is what, like let's say 20 years or so.
25 years.
Yeah, the last 10 years have like, because I've been doing this for like what, like maybe like 8 or 9 years. Like in like the first 3 years that I started playing with it, like the technology has just gotten crazy, and then the stuff that you can buy out of the box, because it used to be that like, yeah, you can buy a gun, but then you need to spend all this time and money upgrading it.
Yeah.
Like that's a pain, and that to pitch that to anybody that wants to
Yeah, here,
get
buy
started.
this for $300.
Yeah, and then
you got to put another $300 into it.
Yeah,
It's like that
like-
doesn't. You don't need that anymore.
and it's a headache, and most people don't want to do that. But like, I feel like one, the information is out there because of the internet, that everybody knows it kind of roughly what to put in their guns and how to use it safely, and how to operate their guns, and like basic maintenance and stuff is all pretty available online that you can like play with and like make sure that you know how to fix it and stuff. But the reliability of the guns is just crazy good for what you pay,
Especially compared to when we first started getting into it.
Yeah. I spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out how to disassemble and then reassemble my gun, and then doing it incorrectly and then doing it over again. Like, it was probably like at least a month's worth of work to figure out how to just get a gun that like shot BBs.
I think it's a good example too, because
Yeah.
if you look at it, like when events 8 years ago, 9 years ago, or even 6 years ago, you would see a lot of people. Everybody had a backup gun.
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Now you don't see that often.
Yeah.
I don't see backup guns very often.
No, and they're guns that they've bought like off the shelf a lot of times.
Right.
They haven't upgraded
Right.
anything in it
Yeah.
before. Before it was like this kind of like contest to see who had like the most
Yeah,
money
you would
thrown
bring
into
like
their
your
gun.
newest build, but you bring your backup gun because you
Yeah,
weren't
because they
sure
were
if
like,
the build
oh,
was
I
going
don't
to
know,
work.
this might fall apart. But like now people can buy guns off the shelves
Right.
and just be like, yeah, it's just gonna work. It's this brand. It's gonna work. You know. So that's
I'll
pretty
pull the
impressive.
trigger. It'll work.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna work. Yeah, and if that 10th time, most of the time it's something real simple to fix, like a loose motor connection, a fuse, or something like that. Yeah.
So I think to summarize a little bit of kind of everything is, if you're a new airsofter and you are by yourself and you're at a field or location that you're unfamiliar with, try and make a friend. Link up with somebody else who looks like they're on their own.
Yeah.
Or, try to build a friendship that way. And if you don't maybe know anybody in your area that plays, there are websites like Airsoft C3 and Facebook and other internet communities that help you find fields that you may not know exist, or find communities in your area that might be able to band together and
Yeah.
help you form friendships.
Yeah, there's a lot of local groups too. Like Facebook is really great for that, because you can set up like really oddly specific like Northern California, but not that north, kind of like specific locations and cities that people are like playing in that specific area. So that's really cool, I think.
Yeah, like Airsoft Tactics 626.
Yeah.
So
Very
you just find
specific.
people in your area code.
Just the 626, yeah.
And if you are an airsofter and you've been doing it for a while and you see somebody new on the field, if they've got a question or they look like they're struggling or they look like they're stuck on the back corner and not moving, do what you hope somebody would have done when you started playing, and guide them and befriend them and help them out,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having that open arms type of welcoming in new players is one of the crucial aspects, because without the new players, players move on.
Yeah, we all grow up. Well,
Yeah.
some of us.
No,
we
we've all
never grew up.
we've all
That's
technically
debatable.
grown up.
Have we? I feel like we do a lot of childish things.
It's like you say,
When was the last time that you went and played Airsoft completely on you came to the field, you paid, you just played
Like a
Airsoft
year
for the
ago.
day?
Well, I guess we don't really have time.
But it's
now.
also like, if I'm doing this for work too, it's kind of tough to like also do it on your off time kind of thing.
If I think all of us can agree that probably if we weren't working in what we were doing right now, it would be a little bit harder to maintain the hobby that we established.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing wrong with admitting that. That's not saying that we're bad people. It's just easier, because it's easier for us to stay into it as examples because of where we were.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Should we get to some of people's comments?
So let's take a look at what some people have wrote us in regards to this wonderful subject. Mole Rat Stew.
That's a good name.
That's a great name. I think getting new players into Airsoft can be as simple as owning an extra set of good iPro, another AEG, an offer to take your buddy out. So if you have good gear, that's and loan them out your spare stuff. From a field perspective, it's a wide variety of rentals can keep and attract new players. This is actually something we've been kind of working on some of our outposts, of having like test driving newer guns.
I really
So it's
like
not
that
all the
idea.
same,
Yeah.
not everybody having just the basic M4 and maybe having like the basic face mask.
Yeah. And with the whole like Premier rentals that we're working on releasing, like being able to rent something that's not your
like
bargain.
something's higher end.
It's like test driving a Ferrari for your first car.
It's a lot of
fun.
But more importantly, a healthy, routine customer player base is important. No one likes a field with regular return cheaters. I really, I kind of annoyed that it's just focusing on the cheater aspect of Airsoft. I don't think that's as big of a problem as people make it out to be. I think you have problems with people picking on new players, for sure, mag dumps, things like that. I think that could be more of an issue than necessarily people not calling hits.
Yeah, I think cheating is definitely frustrating though, especially if you know what's happening. But to get hung up on that is the only reason why you're not playing anymore. There's some other, a little bit more complicated ways to fix that, but like something that I used to do a little bit more frequently was like get just private days going, because like a lot of fields will do like a private game if you reserve it ahead of time and you pay like a certain deposit. Like
You
they'll
have
do
enough
it.
people involved.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun that way because you just get to play with your friends. And so if you think that you might hate Airsoft and then you go and play like a private game where it's just your friends, like you'd be surprised at how much fun you're like, wow, I'm having a great amount of time when I don't have to worry about stuff like this. So if you think that's the problem, maybe try one of those because that might kind of refresh your feeling about the game as a whole.
I think it's used as too much of an excuse sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially on outdoor. Probably it's more prevalent in outdoor fields. You know, people thinking they're shooting 200 feet when they're shooting 150 feet.
Well, yeah.
You know,
like how many times have we been like, oh, I'm totally nailing that guy, and you like the wind is carrying your BBs.
Or like the person's running. Like, you ever think that maybe 100 feet your BB's not being felt? I'm like, that's not the end of the world. Like, he cheated, but not on purpose.
Yeah. Like
get closer, move up.
Not everything's malicious.
Versus if you see somebody, like BBs like bouncing off of the guy's face mask, and
like, or they're reacting like that. I like the whole like tense and then like looking around real quick, and I'm just like, you guys.
It reminds me of that. Reminds me of that Stuff Airsofters Say video from a couple years ago when like the BBs ricochet. Like, was that a ricochet? Like no.
Oh, that was a close one.
Yeah. So Nick S3 says, have enough gun setups to let a friend borrow a setup. Personally, I have 4 setups now. High Kappa, Valken Alloy Series PDW, a UMP Elite Force Gen 2, and dual Walther PPQ M2s.
Dual?
Akimbo.
Is
it Akimbo or Akimbo?
We could have this argument for days.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
I only let friends use rifles during the first game. Once they've been shot and understand the game, maybe I'll let them use a pistol. I learned the hard way about pistols when friends just let the mags fall and I got to replace BB feed lips. Yeah. So that's a little bit in preservation of his own inventory. But also, I think that's a really good way to go about it. A, you're going to have more fun shooting a rifle for your first time anyway. They're more accurate. You don't have to have as much stuff. You don't have to have a holster for it and the whole belt and get up. You slap a mag in one of those and you'll be able to play at least a few games, especially if it's a high cap. So really good strategy. I like that he has a variety of things. And that, kind of reminds me, we all have extra stuff. So it's not hard to just leave that extra kit assembled so that when I do have a friend that wants to go out for the first time, I don't have to reassemble everything or feel like I'm going out of my way. So it really is easier to lend stuff out than you think. But of course, there is a risk of things getting damaged.
But that's why I have like a beater thing. Like I have
if I loan something out, I don't care about it.
Yeah, it's just like if I'm loaning it out and I know that I'm going to be upset if it gets broken, I probably shouldn't lend it out because that's putting unnecessary pressure on my friend who is, probably not very experienced. And I want to believe the best that they're going to try and take care of it, but also if they don't know what they're doing, like it's fine. Like that's why I'm trying to introduce them to this. Yeah. So I feel like if you have something to lend out, you probably should have something that you don't care that much about.
But that's still good enough quality for them to not be frustrated.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But again, the price that you can get, like a combat machine.
But I mean, ultimately, it's going to get damaged. Yeah. You're going to break it anyway.
So you're going to break it eventually anyway.
I break all of my own stuff.
All right, read the next comment, buddy.
David Rogers says, all I need to get people into Airsoft is make them want to play with cool guns. If that fails, it's hard to do anything. Find their taste, show them guns, and make them want it. Yeah, that's kind of true. I'd say that like you definitely have to find the person. Like you have to know who you're trying to sell it to, though. It's like knowing your audience. And if it's like if it's again like we were talking about, if it's someone that wants to get into it for training purposes, don't show them a bunch of Speedsoft like super fast, like running around laser beams everywhere. But if it's a friend that wants to get into it for like playing a video game, like show them something that's a little bit more video game like.
Well, if they wanted to do Speedsoft, the last thing you want to do is like show them an entire cry loadout and be like, look how cool this is.
Yeah, exactly, because they're not going to care. So, but I don't think it's necessarily like it's hard to do anything and find their taste, show them good. That just means that like you don't care necessarily enough about your friend and who they are as like in their taste and stuff, because you got to know that going in before you even try and like pitch that to them, or else you're just kind of like I feel like you're very set in one kind of idea that like if they don't enjoy playing with this kind of gun the way that I want to play with it or the way I enjoy it, then they're not going to like this hobby at all, which is not necessarily true. Because as we all know, there's a ton of ways to enjoy airsoft as a hobby. Yeah.
Fair enough.
The next question from Alpha Dragon 226 asks, first thing you do is give them your best gun.
Oh.
And some lightweight / breathable kit, and then let them have fun for a while. And try to help them along if they need help or are slowing down.
I get the idea behind giving them your best gun.
Yeah, but I don't think you necessarily have to give them, like, if you are let's say you're really into the sport, like you're with one of us who have a gun that probably has $600-700 invested into it total, or even more
than that, right?
Yeah, we're up in the $1,000 range in terms of our primary AG.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to loan that to somebody who just started out.
Yeah.
Well, so let's say for argument that you did, right? So you take somebody brand new to the game, they've never played before, you put that in their hands, they're like, wow, this is amazing, I really want to get into this, I'm going to go get my own.
Yeah.
Goes to a store, gets something in their budget, which isn't $900 plus, and they're like, oh wow, this isn't as fast or as snappy or as cool feeling. Well, how much would it cost to do that? Oh, that's about $900 to $1,000, and then they're immediately turned off. They're like, "Oh my God, that's the cost of entry to get the cool thing."
No.
So I don't know necessarily you want to give out your best gun.
Yeah.
But you definitely if you hand them, let's say you have a spare AEG that's around $200-300, $400 even. Like if you have like a spare Avalon gun or a spare KWA or a Crytek, any of the full metal,
or any of the new G&G G2 gearbox
any of the full metal guns that have a good electronic trigger, that they're all out. There's tons of them out there. We can talk about brands all day, but they're all out there. I think that is versus giving them like the basic $120 rent, not rental, but $120 plastic body gun.
The Airsoft electric gun brand.
Airsoft.
I know what you're talking about.
Old.
That's
give them something that
Asia Electric.
give.
It was Asia Electric.
gun.
I think this is a good. Give them something that you wouldn't mind playing with yourself.
Yeah. And there's a lot of cheap guns that I would not mind playing with.
Yeah. We
Like,
do it constantly.
they're a
We get
lot
to play with a lot of cool guns.
they're a lot lighter if they're all plastic.
And perhaps really the best comment of the group from Swedish Fishies: tell them it's like Rainbow Six, but IRL.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pitch.
What if they don't play Rainbow Six?
Then Counter-Strike, whatever. Find what they play.
What if they don't play video games?
Then they're, I don't know.
Tell them it's like their favorite action movie, but nobody dies.
Yeah.
You sound like Bad Boys too. All right. I don't know. This is a Hot Fuzz reference. Sorry.
Have you ever shot someone in pursuit?
There you go.
There you go. You actually just show them Hot Fuzz, because actually, technically in Hot Fuzz, they don't really actually they do show
It is Hot Fuzz in real life. You could walk in with shotgun strapped to your back, and it's Hot Fuzz in real life.
Hot Fuzz is probably the perfect way to get somebody.
I love that movie.
Well, we hope that answered a lot of your questions, or if this wasn't a question in your mind, but now you've gotten greater insight into bringing new airsofters into the game, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you comment in the section below and start gearing up for our December prompt. George, what is it?
What is the best airsoft gift to give an airsofter?
Oh yeah, the holidays are coming.
The holidays are coming. Let's say
an airsofter who plays.
Let's say yourself.
Well,
think about yourself. Like, how do you ask for specific things? How do you,
So what would you like to receive as an airsofter as a gift?
Yeah. Maybe we could almost do like a giveaway.
We could do a giveaway.
What's the most up? Or no, they're gonna just put a really expensive gun at the top.
Well, so let's put a cap. Let's say, list something that you'd like to receive as a gift.
Not a gun. Not a gun. Just say,
no, but I think that's fair to ask for a gun, but I think it's got to be sub $600.
Because I think that the thing that I would most like to receive as an airsoft.
Well, no, don't talk about it now. This is the prompt.
Okay.
Don't say. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's on the fly.
Guy.
I know it's on the fly. Let's say sub $500.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Post a comment of what you would like from Evike.com for your holiday gift,
and then we can.
And then maybe we'll give one to you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And it'll give us an opportunity to discuss, maybe if somebody's looking to buy something for an airsofter, it'd be a great resource to go, oh, this is what airsofters like.
Yeah. Actually, you have to provide a product link, but you also why? Why do you want
why is the key here.
Yeah.
For somebody who's looking to buy someone a gift, they need to know why you've chosen it.
Yeah.
So
I
there's
would
your
give this
prompt.
person this gift because of this reason.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Ryan, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now you get out.
Yeah, okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye, Ryan.
Next month on the Not So Round Table.
Here.
He can't back out because he's mic'd on a hard line. We'll see you guys later.
I was going to try and leave.
It was fun.
Was it?
I had
It was
fun.
fun.
I had fun.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm
Yeah.
glad. Look at that.
I wish this show existed 17 years ago when I started playing.
Wow.
My God, I'm old.
17 years.
17
You're
years.
I started Airsoft at 14. Off camera, my first Airsoft gun was signed off by a friend's mom because my parents wouldn't let me have guns. So
Wow, you're a
I
rebel.
kept it at a friend's house.
Your
My
Airsoft-
parents didn't know I had guns until much later in life,
And
when I
meanwhile-
started working for Evike.com.
Meanwhile, I'm much more of a loser and purchased mine first when I was able to buy a beer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
At least you were able to buy it for yourself. I had to convince Aaron's mom to be like, can you come to Evike with me and Aaron and then sign for this? And she was like, what about your parents know? And I was like,
Yeah.
can you buy Aaron this gun? And I just handed Aaron cash. Aaron, if you're out there,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, you kept him in it.
Yeah. He doesn't play anymore, I don't imagine.
I don't think any of your old friends play anymore.
Your Airsoft career can drive.
What?
Like you've been playing Airsoft long enough that
Mm-hmm.
that it can drive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
Ah.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.